What up, guys? My name is Casey Israel, and there's something special about to happen. Nintendo's gonna have releasing a Nintendo Direct, and they're gonna be talking about the museum, the Nintendo Museum. So we're gonna check that out. So what I'm gonna do instead of having their chat, I'll zoom up on this on the stream. So hopefully they'll start. I'm gonna assume they're gonna start in like 2 minutes. I literally just got home and hurried. I was like, I better hurry to get here. Like, get ready. So, honestly, I mean, I'm wondering if this is gonna be some kind of actual museum, or is this gonna be like a maybe collection of games? So I am just curious what this is. So cannot wait. Should probably start in a minute. So let me see. I'll make sure the volume's up and make sure we're live on it too. So, oh, you know what? Let's put this out there too. Should start any minute. So, while do that, I will be releasing a gameplay of Rayman for the Sega Saturn very shortly after this. So,
皆さん、こんにちは。宮本です。
damn, that scared me.
今回はオープンに向けて準備中の任天堂ミュージアムからお届けします。私は今、ミュージアムの入り口のレセプションエリアにいます。建物の外観はこんな感じになっています。もともとこの場所にはトランプや花札を作ってきた任天堂の工場があって、ファミコンの頃は製品チェックをしたり、私もよく通っていた懐かしい場所です。たくさんのトラックが出入りした広場はマリオの広場に生まれ変わりました。そしてこの度、長年任天堂製品に関わってきたこの場所をミュージアムとして再生しました。今日は任天堂ミュージアムがどのようなところなのかを駆け足でご紹介したいと思います。それでは中へどうぞ。
So it's an actual museum. That's cool.
はい、ここは2階の展示フロアです。2階は任天堂が創業以来発売してきたさまざまな製品を展示しています。ぐるーっと見渡すと、ビデオゲーム機を中心に過去から現在に至るまでのさまざまな製品が見渡せます。ここからは大きなコントローラーが目に入ります。
That's awesome.
皆さんの興味があるものを自由にご覧ください。それぞれのハードに分けた展示と合わせて我々の独創性とチャレンジをご覧になれます。ご存知の方も多いと思いますが、任天堂はビデオゲームを作るずっと以前から家庭の遊びを作ってきました。創業は今から135年前の1889年です。初めは花札やカルタの製造が主な事業でした。それ以来任天堂はさまざまな遊びを生む玩具を作るようになり、それらがゲーム&ウォッチやファミコンへとつながってきました。ここではそのような昔の製品も振り返ってご覧いただけます。それではどんな展示になっているか少しだけ見てみましょう。こちらはファミコンの展示コーナーです。ご覧ください。日本向けと海外向けでハードのデザインが大きく違いますね。当時はこんな風に日本と海外でデザインを変えて売っていたんです。名前も違っていて、ファミコンは日本以外では任天堂エンターテインメントシステム、略して NES と呼ばれていました。そしてこちらはソフトです。日本向け、北米向け、ヨーロッパ向けでパッケージのデザインや大きさも違いますね。 このように比べてみること
They even
で
have
いろんなことを
different
発見してい
variants
ただけ
too.
る展示になっています。
That's cool.
ミュージアムには任天堂が発売したすべてのタイトルを展示していますから、皆さんが遊ばれたタイトルをつけてください。上のモニターではそれぞれのゲーム画面も見られるようになっています。前に立つとそれぞれの音が聞こえるスピーカーになっていますよ。では別の展示コーナーもいくつか覗いてみましょう。このコーナーでは体を動かすモーションを使った遊びの進化を見ていただけます。そしてここではハテナブロックのデザインがどのように進化してきたかを見ていただくこともできます。このコーナーではそれぞれのハードのたびにスーパーマリオやゼルダの伝説などの
Oh, they
画
have
面の進化
all
を
the
一気に
versions of
ご覧になり
Mario.
ます。さて、こちらのコーナーでは多くの皆さんが知らない任天堂がビデオゲームを作る前の時代の製品を展示しています。これはコピラスといってジアゾ式のコピー機です。
Interesting.
こちらにはママベリカ、ベビーカーがありますね。任天堂はトランプや花札に始まり、ボードゲームやラジコンカー、バッティングマシンなど、いろいろなファミリー向けの玩具を作っていました。そしてこの光線銃が一つの転機となり、ゲ
Oh,
ー
that's
ム
the
センターなど
Famicom.
の
That
ゲーム機を
like
作り
that.
始めたんで
That's
す
for the
ね。
Famicom, I believe.
これは任天堂が初めて作った家庭用のビデオゲーム機、テレビゲーム6と15です。ちょうど私が入社した
Oh, I wonder if they're gonna
1977
show
年に発売されました。
Nintendo IQ
一つ
system.
一つの製品を見ると、ユニークな製品作りを続けてきたことがわかります。
They got
この
board
よう
games
に
too right
ミュージア
there.
ムの2階では任天堂の過去の製品をたくさん展示しています。そして遊びがどのように進化しつながってきたかをお見せします。今日お見せしたのはごく一部ですから、ぜひ実際に見に来てください。では1階に移動しましょう。1階は違ったエリアになっていますよ。はい、1階に降りてきました。ご覧の通り1階の中央は巨大なモニターになっています。こんな感じで皆さんもこのモニターの上に乗って百人一首を遊んでいただくことができます。スマートフォンと組み合わせて遊びますよ。このようにミュージアムの1階のフロアはインタラクティブに体験ができるエリアになっているんです。過去に任天堂が作ってきた製品を今の時代に蘇らせるとどんな遊びになるか。そんなテーマで8つの体験を作ってみました。ミュージアムに入るときに渡されるこの入館証にコインが入ってるんですが、体験にはそのコインを使います。今日は8つある体験の中から3つを紹介しましょう。さあ、こちらは小さな部屋がいくつか並んでいますね。どんな体験ができるのでしょう。ここは1968年に発売されたウルトラマシンが体験できるんです。ウルトラマシンはピンポンの球のようなボールを自動で投げてくれる部屋の中でプレイできるバッティングマシンでした。私が入社したのは改訂版のウルトラマシンデラックスが発売される年でした。少しだけ仕上げに関われました。その頃は社内にプレイルームというのがあって、昼休みにはアーケードゲームやウルトラマシンを遊んでいました。こちらに並んだ部屋は当時の家庭を再現しています。部屋に置かれているものが違うので、お好みの部屋を選んでください。では早速体験してみましょう。床にウルトラマシンが置かれているのがわかりますか？では早速打ってみましょ
う。Look at that with that TV that's made out of wood.
あ、欲しい。
So close. I mean, you trying to get the TV? So you meant to hit that stuff, huh?
部屋の中にある
That's cool.
いろんなものにボールが当たるといろんなリアクションがあります。左右に打ち分けてみてください。では次に行ってみましょうか。 こちらはザッパー&スコープ SP という遊びです。任天堂は1970年代にレーザークレイというボーリング場を改造した業務用のシューティング場を展開していました。このレーザークレイを今の技術で体験できるように作ってみたのがザッパー&スコープ SP です。最大13人まで一緒にプレイできるので、今日はミュージアムのスタッフの皆さんと一緒にプレイしたいと思います。光線銃は2種類ありますね。片手で素早く撃てるザッパー。そして照準がついたスーパースコープ。このどちらかを選びます。NES の光線銃とスーパーファミコンのスーパースコープを復元してみました。今日は私はこちらのザッパーを使ってみます。
That would be cool, actually. And shooting range with you can use zapper or a super scope.
マリオやピーチは撃ったらダメですよ。クッパ、のこのこ狙って撃ちましょう。さあ、いっぱい出てきました。どんどん撃って。ゴム兵が飛んできてます。よし。いや、どうでしょうね、結果は。良かったみたいですよ。次へ行きましょう。こちらではファミコンから Wii に至るまでさまざまなゲームをプレイできます。でもちょっと何か違いますよね。そうです。コントローラーが超巨大です。このコントローラーを2人で協力分担してゲームを遊んでみましょう。では今日はファミコンのスーパーマリオブラザーズをミュージアムのスタッフさんと一緒にプレイしてみます。よろしく。スタッフさんが A ボタンのジャンプ、私が十字ボタンで移動を担当します。2人で息を合わせてクリアしましょう。頑張りましょう。
That's awesome, man. Hey, it seems like I can't hear the music, so that's probably a good thing. That is awesome. I love those giant controllers, man. Like that giant Nintendo Family controller.
リーダッシュです。やりました。2人で声を掛け合いながら分担して操作すると全く違った体験になりますね。ここでは他にもスーパーファミコン、任天堂64、Wii のゲームを巨大コントローラーで遊ぶことができます。大きい Wii リモコン、どんな遊びになるでしょう。いかがでしたでしょうか。今日ご紹介したものは任天堂ミュージアムのほんの一部です。製品の展示やインタラクティブな遊びの体験の他にも、ルールを知らなくても花札が遊べる体験があったり、花札を実際に作ってみることができるワークショップも開催します。また、館内にはオリジナルのハンバーガーが作れるカフェや、ミュージアムだけの限定グッズを販売するショップも併設しています。任天堂は創業から100年を超える歴史の中でさまざまな娯楽を作ってきました。時代によって作り出した製品は異なりますが、家族みんなで楽しんでいただきたいという思いは今も昔も変わりません。この任天堂ミュージアムはそんな任天堂が大切にしてきた遊びと独創を大切にするものづくりへのこだわりを知っていただける場所です。皆さんにはそれを体験しながら実感してもらいたいと思って、開発も一緒に社員が全力で作り上げてきました。任天堂ミュージアムは10月2日にオープンします。 この後、公式サイトを公開しますので、来場に関する詳細はそちらでご覧ください。それでは、任天堂ミュージアムでお待ちしています。キノピオたちも一緒にお待ちしてますよ。
Yes, and thank you for watching. So, that's pretty badass, but that's most likely going to be in Japan. Hopefully, they would have something like that in America, but, God, that is awesome. I mean, you don't see Microsoft or Sony do anything like that. I'm gonna go to the Nintendo. They said something about go to the website. Excuse me. So let's switch over to this one's. They just show it. Let's see. Here it is. Oh, the YouTube video right here. Ah, what the hell? For some reason, my phone just started playing Metroid. I don't want to play that. It started doing Super Mario Maker on another screen. Go to this one. Here we go. They said something about go to the Nintendo site, but it just shows right here what you just watched. About news and events. Doesn't look like anything else new. It looked cool though. I mean, let's go back to it a little bit. Let's see if I can go back. Exit that. Go back here. I'm gonna mute it this time. All right. So. It was about what 10 minutes or something. There it is. Here's what it looks like from outside. What's funny, I guess there's their warehouse or something. Yeah. One thing they never talked about was that they had a love motel. They talk about the toys and stuff prior to the cards they had. We got Devious Dave Rose in the chat. How about you tweet and post? Dave, I would have, but I just got home and realized they still didn't do it, so I just had to run and do it. But look at that. What's cool is that they have like a giant controllers. Like they have the Switch right there. They have Famicom controller there, an NES controller, a giant Game Boy right there. Terrible excuse. It was a good thing. It was cool that Nintendo did something like this. Giant ass controllers. The company was found 135 years ago in the year in the year 1889, and Nintendo Card Company, was it Fuck you, Nintendo Card Company. Like I said, they forgot to mention about they had a Love Hotels chain, but obviously yeah, I cannot pronounce that, Dave. And it was cool over here. Obviously, they're not going to have all the NES games, but it was cool is that they have variants. They had the Famicom version, the American, that looks like probably the European version, and then same thing down here. You got maybe the disc system version. You got the NES version, and down here you actually have variants. Right here. That's what's cool, that they had a couple variants of on the NES boxes. Like, look, they have Wild Gunman right there, and that's the American one, and I believe that's the PAL version right there. Marufuku. But they obviously don't have all the NES games in their. You figured maybe they would have everything unboxed. That might be Earthbound or Mother 1 right there. I love how they have the boxes, they have the consoles, the TVs up here. I wonder what that says right here. Cells volume. And I can't really read what that says. And then obviously you got Rod the Robot over there. So let's see what else. There's the Famicom. Yeah, they have some awful adapter, like RF, their version RF adapter. And then it was cool that their controllers, their Sega player has the speaker. Then we got the international version of the NES. Boxes, different variants. You got, like I said, you got the boxes for the Famicom, NES. I think that's the control deck version. No, that's also the control deck version. Just a different one. Trying to go back a little bit. You see, there's the Famicom version, the NES version, and then the European version. And actually, I think that's the Coleco artwork too, right there. Just different artwork right there. Oh, yes, this is the date or the year or month that came out. It didn't have the day, but this one has the year, the month, and the date for that one. Trying to get. Wonder if they even show. See, there's the Famicom disc game right there. There's another one down here. Stack up, big box right there. Then you have the exercise equipment right here. Trying to scan a little bit back. Oh, you know what? Let me scan right there. Let me go ahead and play it right here. That's cool. I like they had the TVs playing all different games. All right, you got Twister right here. I guess Nintendo version of Twister. I have no idea what that is. I guess you put this between each other, like between two people, and like there's, I think that thing spins around that pole. Then you got exercise equipment right here. And then you got the power pad with its box. What's cool is that's exercise bike. That was for the Super Nintendo. And this item right here is extremely expensive and extremely rare. Then you got the Wii section. You got the Wii Fit, the Wii balancing board, and I think that's that stupid meter band thing, and then you got that flex bow thing for the Switch. Then they show variants of the blocks right there. You want to come on? Is that what you want to do, Dave? I can send you the link real quick. I'm not going to be on here too long. I just wanted to review this a little bit right here. Nintendo and you. Then you have, like I said, variants of the blocks. You got Mario, Mario 2, the Japanese version. You got Mario 3, Mario Land. That is Super Mario World. And that one says Super Mario Bros. 2. I think that says 1992 right there. And Super Mario Land 2, Mario Land, or no, Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3, then Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine. It goes down the line and has all the variants of Mario right there. Oh, we got Dave.
Casey, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I didn't mean now. I just, again, I've provided you with many a good idea that you've used to make content. Let's be honest. But again, it's a fan. I don't want to call myself a fan that much because that means fanatic. I'm not crazy for you, but no, I'm an admirer. I like your work, and I appreciate that you take the input that I provide, and you're like, hey, that's a good idea. Let's do it, and that's why I've loved a lot the comparison between the different consoles, but the same game. And again, I don't know if Rose is big on this, especially the old stuff. What drives me not bonkers, but like what I really like is I love fucking Famicom box art, specifically on the cartridge. But again, this is something that's lost, I think, and that's why I think maybe you want to make a discussion, a standalone video about it, rather than again you just showing this. But to talk about how much we needed that in the 80s and 90s, where you didn't have YouTube showing the gameplay. You didn't have many commercials that really showed gameplay that you understood. I mean, look at that fucking Zelda commercial for Nintendo, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was not even.
It had nothing to do with it. Is the bottom line?
There was a couple versions that didn't make any sense. Like there was one where there's kids rapping, and then there's another one. Then there's a nut like was describing the monsters. So it was like Nintendo was doing crazy stuff.
Yeah, and again, that was the way in the 80s. They had a really interesting way. I mean, we can also look at Genesis commercials and stuff. That's maybe another show. Is let's analyze the commercials that they put out. How does it compare to the game? Did it really attract you to want to play the game? And again, whether it be commercials or again box art, that was something that a kid needed to pass by, and it needed to grab their attention. It needed to be like, hold on, that looks awesome. Let me look at this. And then you look at the back, and then they choose certain graphic art for that. They might choose some screenshots of the gameplay, but you don't really know how it operates. Some games look great, and then they were absolute shit. But like, and I love, this is what, a museum. You're showing footage of again, you told me and others late about your show starting. So 20 minutes, I don't know what you've been discussing, but this looks like a museum, right?
Yeah, Nintendo just released this museum. Obviously, it's got to be in Japan.
I love it. I love how they're showing and again, we're talking box art. You've got the European release, and I love also how they're not as excessive, but they're also very poor. That they make their box a lot smaller. We already saw that fucking, if you ever opened up a Nintendo cartridge, it really is mostly the size of a Famicom card. But they made it bigger because of the whole again, not being video games because of the crash. So it's like a home appliance, like a VCR, right? So they had to make it bigger and stuff. But the thing is, though, we're America. We want to make things even bigger. We're Walmart Americans. So what do? They put it in a fucking box that's even bigger. So it's just like, again, and it didn't really, I mean, the manuals always fit in no problem. It wasn't that. They just had to make it bigger. They were wasting a lot of fucking trees and all that shit making that cardboard, but they were making the fucking box bigger. Then you take a look at the European one here, and you see that it's actually the size of the cartridge. You don't need to make the box larger.
Yes, exactly.
And you can still put the instructions in there, and it fits perfectly fine. And then you've got the fucking the pure engineering genius of the Japanese. We don't need to add extra plastic onto this. It's a fucking cart. And we make it nice and small, but we put the art, like Super Mario 1, the graphics on that Famicom cart are the game obviously doesn't do it justice, but then again, eventually the game replicated the artwork that was in reference to the game. But it's also very Japanese. It's very minimalistic in a lot of cases. Look at that. You have it now on your thing, on your stream, paused on the Donkey Kong stuff. And you look at the simplicity of the Japanese cart box compared to the Donkey Kong European release, which you had just said, I think, was Coleco.
That artwork was Coleco artwork right there.
Yeah, and it still fucking looks awesome. But then you take a look at the American one and the North American one. And this is also something I wanted to tell you in regards to if you ever do a show based on cart and box art, is that do you remember when the initial releases of Nintendo games came out? They all had that certain style, like this look here, right? Sort of the classic, and it had the pixelated graphic of the game. It had like the seal of approval, always in the right spot. The different, this one's like the Donkey Kong's arcade classic or whatnot, and then they had other ones like sports and whatever. And that the style was always the same, and then they sort of switched it up. I think that's kind of important to talk about because I really liked the old school, and I think it was an initial 12 games that they released for the NES on launch year, and they had that graphic.
Well, I think the reason why they did this is like when Atari had their artwork, it was something like this, that's what you get an idea maybe with the game, but this is what pretty much where you expect what the gameplay is going to look like. I mean, that's the graphics right here.
No, that's the back. The back always tells you about the game and it gives you the screenshots. The front is to attract you. Again, it's like a magazine. It's what's on the outside that says, "Oh, maybe I want to check out what's further in there."
Well, that's what I heard though. Is like because what Atari did were like Atari cartridge, they never showed what the graphics looked like. You had to take a shot in the dark because you look at the artwork.
I know.
It was like, what the hell is this game going to be? Like River Raid, like you're not gonna think, hey, it's an airplane that's going down the river. You're like, yeah, they might have the screenshot of what it is, but that's why I heard why Nintendo did this for the American version. But I always love the other region's artwork.
But
and
okay,
plus
so
this also this is the art. Not only it's Coleco version, this is the artwork work for the arcade too. So that's the.
But what I'm referring to is, I remember as a kid that again the artwork was and the presentation of the box was a certain way. The seal of approval was always in a certain spot. You had like the same format, you had the same sort of look, and again for the. I guess first initial 12 release, and I think there's a few after, but regardless, is that then it sort of changed, like because this reminded me of you were showing the two different when they were showing the two different control sets.
Yeah,
that how they look different, but it was the control set. It was the same thing. Maybe it had an upgraded chip here or there, but you notice the box art's different, and that's what I wrote in the chat earlier. Is that it's new graphics, the box art that is, where they started to, I guess, midlife of Nintendo, they started to use like a red line on the top of their products, and it said Nintendo in there, for example. But it was different from the previous. So if you again, if you find that portion of the video that you want to show, or that you're showing, I should say, that shows the two different Nintendos side by side with their boxes behind them, you'll see that. And I just, as a kid, I remember when they changed that, right? It's the same with the Genesis. Remember when Genesis came out, their artwork, their box art and their cartridges were all very similar to the graphic style of the Master System.
Yeah.
But then they changed to what? Red line on top. Remember the red boxes?
Yeah, I remember like you said, originally the Genesis, they had that black grid look, but it's like while the Master System had the white grid look, and then eventually, they had the red with the spiral coming down on one side. So, I mean, I always loved the artwork. I always loved. Because I mean,
did you ever notice it though? Like, did you ever say to yourself? Because that's the thing for me. I just remember when I saw it initially, like changes either from Nintendo styles of box art or Genesis. It's like, hold on, something's changed here. They made it look different, again so I noticed this sort of thing, and I was like, I'm not cool. Again, like I really like the look of the old school, the first release Nintendo games. And when they changed that, I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable with this.
So you're saying you like the black box look?
I do. I so much do, dude. I'm not saying I hate the other ones. I'm just saying that, like, as not only do I like them, because again, it brings me to the nostalgia, but it also brings me to that point in my life where I noticed it's like, hold on, this is different from before. And again, I'm not too sure if I agree with it. Because I was just so accustomed to the old school. And I also think, again, this is a great conversation for a panel, because if you take a look at it just from the art aspect alone, these some of the box art is art, like real art that could be put up in a fucking museum because it's just so well put together. And what it does is that it encourages the person who might pass by it randomly to say, you know what, I want to buy that Nintendo cartridge. Back in the fucking 80s when it was like $50 or more to buy a fucking Nintendo cartridge.
Here's
like that says a lot about the power of art.
Here's the fun fact. You see these 3 purple boxes right here, the Famicom games? These are actually the Light Gun game series because there's Wild Gunman right there. There's Duck Hunt. And then you got it's not Hogan's, is it?
Were the Light Gun games always purple?
Yeah, for the Famicom, the box and I believe the cartridge were purple for the Famicom.
Again, Japanese genius, knowing, okay, if we're going to have a certain type of game, it's going to have a certain cartridge. That's fucking genius. I don't know what that Western game is. I can't remember, but Hogan's Alley, I loved playing that in the arcade, though. But Duck Hunt was the game that everyone eventually almost got because, again, later on they were selling it in combo with Mario Brothers.
Dude, it's awesome. I kind of wish they had like all of them, but like all the games from the NES box. But that would have been like it would fill this whole freaking.
It would be a whole building, dude. It would be if they were gonna space it out proper and display it like this. It'd probably be a whole building.
I mean, it is already like they said this. I believe this is the second story. So
I totally agree with you here. It's just like this is sort of like teasing us. Like I want to see every single fucking game and their variations from Asia to Europe.
Well, look how much spacing there is. So maybe they're not done adding.
Hopefully not.
Yeah. But I think that's badass because you don't see Microsoft or Sony do anything like this. So I was like, I mean, I saw this. I was like, is it in the actual museum or are they going to have some type of a collection for the Switch? Because they said it was the Nintendo Museum Direct. You can see right here, they have Twister, the Nintendo version of Twister.
That must have only come out in Japan because I don't remember that ever. Yeah. And maybe you could hack the game and just like Maker, you must do the doggy position.
Then you had this one right here. I guess you had to put this thing between your belly, between these two people, and then I guess you make this thing swoop around, and it looks like a bell right there. This is when they were obviously. This is when they were making toys. This is right after they did their Nintendo cards, and like I said before, it's funny they didn't mention. Don't talk about their history, but they also had a chain of love motels.
Yeah, you were talking about that earlier. I know that those things exist in Japan, and that Nintendo at one point was running that sort of side business, but obviously they don't need to do that no more.
No. And then right here, they have a.
Do you have a power pad?
Oh yeah, I actually have 2 versions. I got one in a generic white box, and I got the one like in this box right here.
Do you just keep them, or have you ever used them?
Well, as a child, I used them. I mean, nowadays, no. I mean, there's only a couple games for the power pad.
Yeah, and there's a couple games for Rob, and you still fucking use them. And then the coveted, well, I don't know if it's coveted by you there, Casey, but that maybe just to collect, but the fucking riding Super Nintendo riding bike.
Yeah, the exercising bike. they're going through all the Mario games from all the generations. I'm glad that they decided for the Wii U that they use Mario 3D World, because that's actually the better Mario game that was on there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool! And this is where they have the.
I haven't used a Nintendo console since the Wii, I think. I never played the GameCube, didn't like it. But I played a couple games on Wii. I made my own character as one of those Wii people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Popping up on other people's consoles and shit.
I love they're showing their toys now. They got their rifle right here.
Was that the light rifle? Or just a...
Yeah, actually, I think that rifle was for, let me go back. That rifle could have been for one of two things. I know Nintendo, I learned from the gaming historian, they got the copyright and they made the invention for it. It was for the light gun. And there's the Odyssey, the Magnavox Odyssey 1 that came out with a light rifle. And I heard Nintendo built it for them. So I don't know if that's for the Odyssey 1, or maybe it's for something else, but it looks like it. And then they got board games right here. I don't even know what the hell that is. It's a seesaw. That's what it is. And then they have a printer. They always made all types of stuff. Yeah, there's the printer. Or a copy machine, huh? Yeah, there's a seesaw right there. Baby stroller. There's the light gun for the Famicom.
Yep.
I don't know that lion head, but this right here actually is cool. That is another version that they use for a light gun. You shoot at this lion. There's a little window in its belly, and you shoot that, and it would collapse.
Pretty cool. And Nintendo really always has sort of tried to seek out the newest sorts of things and even potentially start trends. But they've been very adventurous in that, and in many cases it worked great. In other cases, like the Virtual Boy, it did not.
Look, this one says the Disney board game, and you got Disney characters right there. This almost looks like Sorry right there. I guess that's chess.
But yeah, really, I was just calling in to let you know about my thoughts on box art. It's clearly an aspect of the passion that is early video games.
I think it's a good idea to react to like old commercials and react to them. That's not
that would be a great idea. Well, it is a great idea because it was my idea. But basically, again, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Tex plays many video games. I don't play many video games now, but I do know about the Nintendo, and again, 80s and 90s fucking console gaming, I know well, so I can speak to that. But I don't know if Rose is the same way.
I think he doesn't go past the NES. Probably not even past the Super Nintendo, really. Like, maybe the NES, but nothing like as crazy as I am.
Dude, I had an Atari 2600 back when I was 5, I think. So I know you were talking about the Atari games, not knowing what kind of fucking game you'd get. Yeah, I know, because fucking my parents were buying me those Atari games, and I judged them on the box art. Another reason why I have, you know, such intimacy for it. And I learned my lesson very quickly that you can't always judge it by the box art, but the box art itself, you know, sort of dictates things, and it creates an interest, because even if the game is shit, it's just like you bought it because you saw the box art. So, you know, things like that. I don't know who else other than you would be able to speak on those matters. But again, I just think an open panel would be great on that sort of thing for those that know and are able to discuss it. Maybe you want to just reach out to all these historians and stuff. But yeah, I'd love to discuss box art specifically, and maybe even review a few. But again, another genius idea. But the reviewing the commercials is great, because even today you get commercials. But we had some really crazy commercials. Actually, that reminds me of another thing I was going to mention to you. It's not just the commercials, but do you not remember the fucking either advertisements in a comic book or in a fucking video game magazine? The advertisements for games, and like it's hilarious because some of them you look back on, and they're straight up almost calling people faggots. They're like, yeah, absolutely. They're like, if you don't play this game, you're like, you're not a man.
The Neo Geo says that what it said that you need a pair of steel balls to play this.
Yeah, those were wild. Back in the day, especially the 90s, they were really like, yo, dude, some of the ads, again, another aspect of art. Guess what? I love art, and not just contemporary. I like classical as well. But some of the art and some of the wording of some of these advertisements, even sometimes by Sega, obviously you had Neo Geo, and even some game publishers and stuff, like for, let's just say, fucking, I don't know, what game was I gonna say? Whatever. It was a Doom, but a bunch of them were just like, just the wording of the stuff. You can't get away with that today, and it really spoke to the audience, which was, you know, boys, and, you know, obviously some men. And it wasn't you didn't have the fucking wokeness of today with females trying to come in and be like, this is our space now. It's like, no, you didn't play this before. You just think it's cute to fucking show this shit on TikTok, but you're clearly not welcome here, and you suck anyways. But yeah, so there's that. So three great ideas that you can use. I just, again, don't know, other than me and you, who the fuck is going to be interested in talking about it.
The only other people would probably be like Filthy Mouth Gamer or The Rose, because
Filthy Mouth Gamer actually is part of that, is part of my generation, so he would have the most probably to say about it. He's older than me, so he had more experience in certain things, and certainly apparently he had more access to money than my family did. So he got the cooler toys, but that's no reason to be jealous of anybody. Again, like I think of you, Casey, as like the cool kid in school, because you had all like every time you'd have a birthday or fucking Christmas, you'd be the luckiest kid around because you get all the fucking greatest things. And it's just like you'd be privileged to be asked to go to Casey's birthday, for example. It's like, oh fuck, man, like the cool kid's fucking like he's having a birthday and I'm invited. This is gonna be fucking, like, you already saw like his parents buy him all these fucking great toys. Like we're gonna get like mountains of cake and fucking loot bags and all this other stuff, and like you're the cool kid, man, for real. Anybody that says otherwise, I will do bad things to you. How about
that? Well, I'm just gonna finish looking this over again, and then I'm gonna call it not.
You already watched this. You watched this before you played it, so that you would know what content you were going to show, and then you replayed it several times. Why do you need to go back through it? We heard your reaction. Oh God, I can't wait to go. Oh, in fact, Casey, why don't you do that? Why don't you save up for a trip to Japan and actually visit? Because you know what? I would certainly visit that fucking Super Mario World, dude.
Yeah.
That looks so fucking good. And the food, except for a couple of things I saw, they look fucking like absolute shit. I don't know if you've reviewed that. Maybe you should do a video reviewing somebody's review of Super Mario World in Japan. That'd be kind of cool, actually, to be quite honest. But yeah, some of the food doesn't look worth the cost because obviously it's not cheap, but just the detail to aesthetic, at least of the structures of the building, it's like you're fucking in a Super Mario World game. I
would prefer if they would bring this to America. That'd be cool because they are actually. They will be building a Super Mario World in America. I believe it's Universal that's doing this in Florida. I think it might be already open. I'm talking about I think it. Maybe you were right. There could be another one, but regardless, I would love to if they had the museum, like another museum in America, because there's the Video Game Museum of America. There's actually several in America. I don't know if you've seen them. That is true. That's a great point. So, man, you should do a road trip visiting all the video game museums, and that'd be really cool to see. Again, another like what 5 ideas already? 5 ideas I've given you. I'm not even charging this guy. I'm just such a saint. Shout out to Sif Negan in the chat. That's what I was going to say. I got Sif Negan in the chat. What's up, man? Remember the kids' game show Video Power? It was based on the latest NES video games. No, I don't remember that. I mean, I remember a show in Canada called Video and Arcade Top 10. And what they would do is they would actually invite kids and they would play competitively on the NES. So they say you have 4 TVs hooked up to 4 NESs, 4 kids in front of them, and they'd have to compete against each other. And there was other skits and stuff through the show, but that was the concept. And they'd review shows. I loved the show back as a kid. They'd review games that were coming up, give you so it was like basically like Nintendo Power magazine, but in video form. But they talked about other systems because they had the Genesis on there and even Game Boy and stuff. So go ahead. I remember Nick Arcade. That's the one thing I remember. Is because one, you had to go around this map, and then you'll have video game challenge. You go to an arcade machine and you start. It's a bunch of console games, and then the winners will go into the video game. It's like a giant green screen, so they would look honestly over the TV, see what's going on, and it was always cool. I love Nick Arcade, but that was during my time. I heard other shows, but I'd never seen anything else except Nick Arcade. All right, but. No, yeah, it sounds like you want to wrap up, so I'll be on my merry way. Again, 6, 7 ideas already, just always providing, and I would personally like to see that stuff, and I'd have no problem being part of it. But I just think that'd be a good piece of content, and go into the details that maybe some people don't know about. I mean, showing the comparison that you were doing earlier, I think it really it should speak to people. Look, and after we've examined these sort of things, like again, America wanted to make things bigger. You had a bigger box than even the cartridge. Europe is like, we're cheap and fucking poor. We can't afford it. We're going to make it exactly the size of the
cartridge. And then Japan, you know, we have our small cartridges. We're gonna make it nice and small, but we're still gonna make it something that brings your attention to it. Because again, the whole concept back in the day was you have to go to the store to see these games, whether it be played on a TV behind a glass cabinet, which was back in the day in fucking Toys R Us, or you'd pass a fucking a shelf or shelving unit that had these games stacked up, right? And you would judge them basically. You'd first get their attention, your attention. Well, first they would get your attention by having cover art. It's the cover art that made you be like, hold on, let me look at that. So you pick it up, and as always, you flip it over and you look at the back. What do you see on the back? The story about the game. What's the whole purpose? Fucking screenshots, maybe even more art, you know? That's how these things worked back in the day. And nowadays, with practically no physical media, how are people learning about games? Because either Steam or a website shows a video about it. But back in our day, you had to decide, am I willing to spend 50 hard-earned dollars? Okay. And with inflation and all that's a lot more. But am I willing to spend that amount of money on this game? I have no idea about it. Or even when it comes to renting games.
Exactly.
It's just like you were, and you know what? If you had it for 3 days, for example, as a kid, you could have had a very, very bad weekend if you chose a bad game, and all you were doing was judging based on cover art.
Except thinking is like, back in the day, with you tried the games at Toys R Us or Circuit City. I don't remember them doing that Circuit City, but I know at like Kmart and Walmart, stuff like that. And Toys R Us. But I hardly ever went into a Circuit City, like very rarely. So, but yeah, it was fun. The only other way you could even know what the game was like is renting, or just straight up just reading the magazine.
And that still didn't give you the whole idea. But thinking back about Toys R Us, I was in the golden age, dude. I was at that time where behind this huge glass cabinet that Toys R Us had, it was almost the entire row. You had, again, CRT TVs in there getting super hot, right? Mm-hmm. Showing connected. And again, these game systems were running for fucking 8 hours plus a day. You'd have Atari 2600. You have fucking Atari 5200. You'd have the 7800. You'd have the Nintendo. You'd have the fucking ColecoVision. You'd have Ataris.
And
television, and there was a few other ones, but you had them all in these fucking cabinets. You had the games actually playing, you know, because it goes through the fucking demo screen, all that sort of thing. You had that playing, so you could get some of an idea. You had the fucking accessories, dude. Remember, this is another video, so they're like 200 suggestions I've given already. But this is something that also made me love the Nintendo so much. The NES platform, let's just say that. Not the system itself, but the platform, is that you had all these third-party companies creating controllers with fucking turbo buttons, dude. You had fucking either a switch or maybe 4 buttons on your control pad. You had fucking joysticks and shit. Yeah, the control pad, I think it's the control pad, was the official Nintendo one, but you had so many third-party ones that were fucking releasing all this sort of shit for the Nintendo. Cable extensions, fucking new type of RF adapters, whatever. All that. And I love that stuff.
Well, Nintendo always did that stuff. Like, even all the way up to today. I mean, they have...
No, hold on. They really cracked down after the NES, because you did not see that to the extent as the SNES and afterwards. You did not have as many third-party add-ons or products for Nintendo. And I think they talked about this in the past where, again, they sort of forced people to have the Nintendo seal of approval if it was going to be like, I guess, agreed to by Nintendo. But yeah, I noticed a huge difference from the NES to you know, to the SNES and after.
Seth Nagin said he used to remember playing the game Test Drive on the Commodore 64. I had a Commodore 64. I just couldn't figure it out. Couldn't really get into it. And eventually, it was just like I prefer
Another fucking terrible excuse. You just didn't know the commands to fucking use it. Come on.
I was lazy, so I wanted, and then I probably saw something else I prefer. So I was like, then I decided to just trade those in. But he says that I bought a AV
controller with the turbo buttons. I remember that one.
I remember it was the one for the NES. It was the NES Advantage. It was like an arcade stick. So
no, that's the one I called it control pad by accident. It's what you said.
Advantage.
Yeah, the Advantage. But it's basically, and I love it. I never got that as a kid. But I love the positioning of the. I noticed that is sort of like off because it was on an angle compared to the control pad. But yeah, I thought that was cool. And just as a side note, fucking when Neo Geo came out with their fucking stick, dude.
Yeah. See, I go between because I have both.
Do you have do you have the Neo Geo stick?
Yeah, I had the arcade stick. And
nice.
Not only that,
dude, you are the coolest kid in fucking school. I fucking said it.
And I also have where the Neo Geo CD came with just a controller. So,
did it?
Yeah, and they're interchangeable.
Or another stick controller?
No, it's like just a normal controller with a the thumbstick is
weird. Okay. I prefer the NES Max over the Advantage controller. You remember the NES Max? It looked like a fucking little boomerang, like a mini little Xbox controller, S series. But yeah, that had it didn't have a directional pad. It had that placement. What are those called?
Like some kind of like a disc. Like where
that's pretty cool, dude. Especially back in those days, like it was different. And I don't know, I never played it, so I don't know how it functioned. But it sounds on paper that it probably could do quite well on certain games.
I was so used to just the normal controller. You know, one thing went through all this, even though it was not made by Nintendo, I don't see the Power Glove. So
that was by Galoob, I think, right? Or was it J? What was that company? J?
I think Mattel actually.
Was it Mattel?
Made it. Yeah, I think Mattel made it. Actually, I got it in the box too.
You used it?
I had one as a child, yeah, and it's
no. But have you used the one that you've got, or are you just gonna hold it even if it's broken?
I'll hold on to it even if it's broken.
I had one as a kid, and it certainly wasn't like the movie The Wizard.
Oh no, it's horrible.
It is fucking horrible. The sensors alone that you have to put on TV, that alone should have just like immediately made you fucking want to return it. But then just the control response was just fucking horrid.
Oh no, it was definitely a gimmick. So it was
but you know what? Lucas looks so cool with it.
You know it's bad when they have an actual controller on top of the glove.
Yes, I noticed that also as a kid. It's just like, wait, it's got a controller on the controller.
Yeah, it's like I can understand maybe the action buttons, but I also had the D-pad on it, so it was like
it's basically there was another controller. Yeah, and I made my mom return that.
I I kept it. I honestly, I don't remember what happened. It probably got
Come on,
lost in.
Casey. I'll say it in your voice.
It just can't fit around my arm. It's too small.
It just
But
one of
do you
those.
remember also there was different sizes for it? There was a small
Yeah,
size, there was a medium, and a large. I think there was a
I,
large, but there was two different sizes at least. I
yeah,
remember.
I think there was just two sizes. I can see the one I got where it says large on mine. So mine's more
Oh,
the.
that's great. It'll fit my little finger.
Well, I'm gonna wrap up on this, and then I'm gonna get ready for my other gameplay coming up. So I appreciate you coming on, bro.
No problem. But please consider making standalone videos of all the 8,000 suggestions that I've given to you today.
I think it's definitely. I really like the commercial idea.
The commercial is fucking genius. The box art is something that obviously I have passion on because again, art I also like, and again, it speaks a lot to the time when this stuff was out and how someone would actually decide on choosing a game, and also how to judge certain people. Let's say the Mega Man cover. Okay, that should be highlighted during a fucking trial on Wars Against Humanity, right? Because like you're going to be releasing that graphic and the game is nothing close to that, or even you know what? Another the millionth suggestion: do a review, maybe either not a walkthrough, but just a review, listen, whatever, like video game movies, right? So you could review or watch through whatever Super Mario Brothers, fucking what's it called, The Wizard, all these games that deal with video games. You could review and talk about. Kind of interested on your take on some of these movies and stuff, and yeah,
That's not a bad idea.
And also TV shows. There's another one. I'm certainly not running out of ideas, but again, dude, Crimes Against Humanity, fucking the display of Mega Man during fucking Captain N and the Game Master, like, and that's how he talks. That meanwhile, you take a look at what was happening in Japan at the same time. Basically, they had a Mega Man show. Didn't sound as faggoty as the American one. You had a Super Mario Brothers show, right? It was providing good fucking entertaining stories and stuff in the world. And then you take a look at what America is doing with the Super Mario Brothers show with Lou Albano and whatever that guy's name was for Luigi, where they had all these fucking stars pop up anyways. And then they were showing clips of the show. And it was a different animation style and all that. Like, yeah, I want to hear you talk about that because I got a lot to talk about too. But I want to hear you because you are, again, the cool kid, and you know a lot. You probably know more than I do, and I know a fucking fuck ton. But yeah, I want to hear your take on that sort of thing. So
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, genius ideas as always. Basically, 90% of Casey's content is really just copied from what I've suggested to him. But that's perfectly fine because I'm what you call a so-called fan. I'm not a fanatic, but I'm certainly an appreciator. On that note, I shall leave you be to do your other thing, and you have yourself a great day.
See you, Dave. Thanks. Sif, I would say my thoughts on the Rob the Robot. It's definitely better than the Power Glove because, I mean, at least the thing actually works properly. But I mean, it only had two games. It had one for was it Jeremiah? I know I pronounced it wrong, but and then Stack Up, and like that's the only two games. But there's people made games for the NES that use the Rob the Robot. So like like I have a reproduction or like a homebrew NES game that was cool. At least I have my top loader that I can plug this cartridge in. It's clear, so you can see right through it. It has LED lights, so when it'll play Christmas music, and then it's flashing lights, so it makes Rob the Robot dancing. So it's better than the Power Glove, but I mean it was another gimmick that Nintendo used to get into the market because when the video game crash, the the market crashed in '83. They had to use something to get in there, so they made the NES look like a VCR player, and then they're like, "Hey, we're gonna put in the '80s they had the robot craze, so that's why they're like, we'll make this robot." And it's like not only you're buying this, you're buying this appliance thing too. So that was the reason for that. Oh, I do agree with Dave on that one. That the Famicom Rob looks great, and I do like Captain N, the Game Master. That was good. But let's go ahead and continue. Kind of going through. You can see that's their light gun. I don't know if this was for the Famicom or is for this toy right here because, like I said before, this lion that has like a window in there. You shoot it in there, and the lion would collapse. I assume maybe you shoot the forehead of this lion right here. Maybe it'll do something. So it's cool. There's their Pong clone systems right here. Like, that's when they started dipping into the home consoles. Obviously, with the arcade games. I love how they showed the toys. Look at this. What's weird is this, like, got a flashlight, but it's like a flashlight on top of a flashlight. What the hell is that for? That is pretty cool. And they have bells. They were trying to do a little bit of everything right here. Wild Gunman. Yeah, Wild Gunman was also like uh, an arcade game too, and before the one we know, I believe. Now they're on the first floor, and there's some Japanese card game that you can use with your phone. Eh, and they love to interact with stuff like this. I don't know what you do with that. I would love to visit this. I mean, this museum looks badass, but like Dave brought up a good point. You do have all these video game museums, so I guess I don't have to think about going to Japan. I could guess find one of these nearby museums. I thought this was kind of cool. I was looking over here, it's like here's home base, and the batter's box right here. I was like, what the hell is this? Where you can try the Ultra Machine, and then it just shoots out wiffle balls, and here's your bat. That was pretty badass. Uh, as a child, too much walking. No, I had no problem walking. But it almost looked like batting cages. That's what it looks like. They're teaching you to, you know, play wiffle ball inside your house. That's what it is, because they're the thing that shoots out the wiffle ball. Because it wants you to shoot the wiffle ball out, and they're like, oh, let's aim for our TV, or let's see, he's like, oh, so close, we almost got our TV. Then aim for the bottles. So aim for something that could, fall off the ground. Hit our printer copier. And then they're going to this place that goes back where I know back in the day when bowling alleys were not doing well. So Nintendo, see right here, Nintendo renovated bowling alleys, so they would put a giant screen out, so it'd be using these light rifles right here, and I guess you shoot out ducks and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool that you had an idea, but this would be cool too. Let's go a little bit past that. See, there's their gun range. And I think this would be badass, playing Nintendo games with giant ass controllers. Devious Day Rose, the RBI baseball. I love RBI baseball. Playing Contra. Oh, yeah, exactly. 100%. Same thing with the Turtles arcade game. But that looks awesome, playing it with a giant controller right there. People kind of do this, though. They'll make a coffee table and make it work like that, too. So that's nothing new. I mean, I would love to have a coffee table, especially either like the Famicom controller or the NES controller. And like, oh, you just put your stuff here, and then, hey, you want to play an NES game? Look at this. You got a giant ass Wii remotes right there. And I'm thinking, trying to take a look, that might be a giant Super Nintendo controllers right there. Look how many people has to hold it, like 3 people right here. But that's funny. Giant Wii remotes. Yeah, that is Super Nintendo controllers because they're playing Mario Kart right there. And I think that's Legend of Zelda Link to the Past right there. What did you think? I think it's badass, man. And then you can go and do artwork. Who gives a fuck about artwork? So, I think that is pretty badass right there, guys. Supersized Famicom controller is just the size of the original Xbox controller, the Duke. Yeah, you're right. Well, I appreciate all you guys coming by. I was just, yeah, exactly. He was just talking on for 30 minutes talking about artwork. Yeah, but that was like arts and crafts, they were doing. And like, unless you like doing arts or crafts, I'm like, that must be something like a Japanese thing. I know you like art. I like art too, but I'm not into arts and crafts. But I appreciate you guys coming by. I'm gonna eat, get ready for my gameplay of Rain Man for the Sega Saturn coming up. Actually, should have started 22 minutes ago, but because this direct came out, obviously I had to push it back. So I appreciate you all guys coming by, and I'll see you guys another time, at least by Saturday. So see you guys. Have a good night.